Hello everyone and welcome back to the EL99 coursebook. In this video we're going to be continuing Unit 3. This will be Unit Part 2, 3B. We're going to be talking about experiences and we're also going to take a look at the present perfect. So let's start with 1. See what we have here. Okay. The photos show 2 unique stories. Choose 3 words from the box for each story and add them to the correct photo. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is, you guys know the drill by now. I'd like you to pause the video and take a look at these 2 photos and try to think about what is going on. Get a general idea of what is going on. And then after that, I'd like you to add 3 words from the table here for each picture. And then come back and we'll check answers together. Okay, so now that you have a general idea, this looks to be some sort of climber perhaps. Looks like he's taking a picture of himself, a selfie if you will. Mountains, great view, but looks dangerous. This is what I could come up with on the spot. For B, it looks like there's a lot of painting going on, perhaps old buildings being repainted, maybe an artist putting these together because they do look quite funky in a good way. So these are all things to consider. We're going to be listening to 2 friends talking about the stories behind the photos, and then we'll put the words. Well, you should have put the words. I'll put them with the audio, and then you can check your answers. So here we go.
Photo A. Have you seen this photo?
Wow, who's that?
His name is Hans Muller. He's climbed some of the most dangerous places in the world without any safety equipment.
What? Do you mean he doesn't use ropes or anything?
Exactly. And he takes a photo of himself at the top.
That sounds very dangerous. Has he ever had an accident?
No, he hasn't. He must be a very good climber.
But why does he do it?
He says he likes the views.
Well, we all like taking selfies, but have you ever taken a selfie like that?
No, I haven't. Photo B.
Have you ever painted something?
Yes, I have. I painted my bedroom last year. Why?
Well, there's a good story here. You know those really poor areas of cities in Brazil?
Yeah, they're called favelas, aren't they?
That's right. Well, these 2 artists went to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. They noticed that a lot of the people living in the favelas were very good at painting. So they organised a big painting project.
What have they painted?
They've painted the outside of the houses in the favela. You can see in the photo. They've used all sorts of colours and shapes.
They're amazing. How many buildings have they painted so far?
They've done one part of the favela, but they've had some problems because the favela is a bit dangerous.
Really?
Yeah, but they are planning to carry on.
Okay, so that was the audio. For the first one, it was quite obvious because we can clearly see some of the mountains. He's holding a selfie stick, taking a picture of himself. This climber doesn't use any equipment, which makes it very dangerous, but he enjoys the view, so I guess that makes it fine. And for the second part, we could see like the poorer areas in Brazil. Housing, and a lot of them are artists, so they've painted some of this stuff on the outside and with all sorts of colors, as we can see here. So these were the words. Let's check answers. Here we go. All right. We're going to be listening to that audio one more time for exercise 3. Let's see here. I'm going to reset this first, and then we can go over it one by one. What I'd like you to do is, I'm going to play it again, but this time I'd like you to go over the questions and answer them as you go. We have 4 questions for photo A. And then for photo B, we have 4 more questions. I'd like you to answer them after listening to the audio one more time. And then come back, check answers. So here we go.
Photo A.
Have you seen this photo?
Wow, who's that?
His name is Hans Muller. He's climbed some of the most dangerous places in the world without any safety equipment.
What? Do you mean he doesn't use ropes or anything?
Exactly. And he takes a photo of himself at the top.
That sounds very dangerous. Has he ever had an accident?
No, he hasn't. He must be a very good climber.
But why does he do it?
He says he likes the views.
Well, we all like taking selfies, but have you ever taken a selfie like that?
No, I haven't.
Photo B.
Have you ever painted something?
Yes, I have. I painted my bedroom last year. Why?
Well, there's a good story here. You know those really poor areas of cities in Brazil?
Yeah, they're called favelas, aren't they?
That's right. Well, these 2 artists went to Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. They noticed that a lot of the people living in the favelas were very good at painting. So they organised a big painting project.
What have they painted?
They've painted the outside of the houses in the favela. You can see in the photo. They've used all sorts of colours and shapes.
They're amazing. How many buildings have they painted so far?
They've done one part of the favela, but they've had some problems because the favela is a bit dangerous.
Really?
Yeah, but they are planning to carry on.
Okay, so now that we've listened to the audio one more time, I hope you're able to get the answers. Let's go over them together. So what is the climber's name in the first photo? His name is Hans Muller. What has he climbed? He's climbed some of the most dangerous places, right? What is unusual about the way he climbs? Well, this one's pretty obvious. He doesn't use safety equipment. It's kind of like his whole shtick. Why does he climb? Well, he says he likes the views. Okay, so that was the first photo. For the second photo, what is a favela? We heard it a lot in the audio for the second part. A favela is basically a really poor city or really poor cities. Which city does the photo show? The audio was talking about Rio de Janeiro. So that's what we'll write down. Janeiro. Why did the artists organize the painting project? Because they noticed that a lot of people living in the favelas are artists. What have they painted? This is very specific. I hope some of you or all of you were able to catch this one. It says they've painted the outside of the houses in the favela. So these were the answers for photo A, and these were the answers for photo B. Okay, now let's go to exercise 4. Actually, before we do that, I'd like to talk a little bit about the grammar that we're going to be discussing in this part of the unit, the present perfect. And actually, let me go up here. I think it's here as well. Yes, it is. So, what do we use the present perfect for? The gist of it is we use the present perfect to talk about actions that have started in the past but are still continuing to the present. Or it could be actions that have happened in the past, but they have a sort of connection to the present, if you will. Don't worry, this will all make sense very soon. Um, we usually use it by having the sentence be the subject, and then we add a has or have, and then a past participle of the verb. For example, I could say something like, I have lived in this city for 5 years. This implies that I have lived in the city for 5 years. It is something that started in the past, but it continues to the present because I'm still living there. Another example could be something like, she has eaten all the cookies. It's something that happened in the past, but the cookies are gone now. Okay? Um, Another example could be, let me see if I can get something off the top of my head. I could say something like, they have been to the beach many times. Again, it is something that happened in the past, but the experience has influenced them in a way. Okay? Basically, some key points that you could take away from this is that the present perfect gives an emphasis on a connection between a past action and the present. It does not specify time, so there's no specific time when said action happened, just that it has happened before this very moment that we're in. Okay? And this is very similar to what we just said, just in a little less detail. We use the present perfect to talk about experiences. In a positive way, it is has, have, and then past participle of the word. Negative would be hasn't or haven't, and then past participle. For example, Amr hasn't driven a car before. Also, in a question context, it could be has, have, and then past participle. Have you ever lived in another country? No, I haven't. So now that we have a good idea of what the present perfect is, now let's go back to exercise 4. See what we have here. I'm gonna reset this. Complete the sentences about the stories in one using the present perfect form of the verbs in brackets. Remember, we'd like to use the present perfect to change these verbs into present perfect. Let's start with 1. He dash some of the most dangerous places in the world. If we want to change this to present perfect, you guys, what do we do? That is correct. We're going to add has climbed some of the most dangerous places in the world. Dash he ever dash an accident, and then we have the word have. So we'll say, has he ever had an accident? No, he, and then we have not have. So not have will become has not. And then we have what dash they dash and then paint. So this is a question. For question format, we could say something like, what have they painted? Okay. They dash the outside of the houses in the favela. Paint one more time, so we could say have painted. This time they're together. So they have painted the outside of the houses in the favela. They dash some problems because the favela is a bit dangerous. Again, we have, so we'll say they have had some problems because the favela is a bit dangerous. So this was us turning these verbs into present perfect form. Here you go. All right, awesome. Let's see what we have here. Let's go to exercise 5. Complete the interview with a traveler called Shona Mitchell using the present perfect form of the verbs in brackets. Okay. Let me take a look. I'm gonna reset this first. Let's go over it. Think of this as a continuation to the last exercise that we just did. Let's complete it and then check our answers. Actually, before I do that, I'd like you guys, if you have the book, to do this part yourselves. Try to get some practice in with the present perfect and how to write it down, and then come back and check your answers. So let's start. Shona Mitchell travels the world and always takes her 8-year-old son. Okay, that is context that we definitely needed. Where, then we have you travel with your son and what you do. So that will be changed to where have you traveled with your son and what have you done? Remember, present perfect. Where do I start? We do so many things together. So far, we be to the Sahara. So we say we've done so many things together so far. We've been to the Sahara and we sleep in the Amazon rainforest. This will be again, sorry. We've is short for we have, you guys, by the way. We have slept in the Amazon rainforest. We climb mountains and we swim with dolphins, and of course, we meet some amazing women, men and women from many different countries. So let's go back. We climb will become we've climbed mountains and we've swum with dolphins. And of course, we meet will become we've met some amazing men and women from many different countries. If there be any problems, will be have there been any problems? Well, he not enjoy everything will become well, he hasn't enjoyed everything. We stay in some very basic accommodations, so that will be we've stayed in very basic accommodation, and he be sick a few times. That sounds like something. Never mind. He be sick a few times. He's been sick a few times. And what about his education? He missed a lot of school. This is a question, so that will be has he missed a lot of school? Honestly, yes. He missed quite a lot of school. He missed will be he's missed quite a lot of school, but I think school is less important than traveling and seeing the world. He learned more about the world from our travels than at school. He's learned more about the world from our travels than at school. I plan to take him on another trip soon. So these were the verbs and brackets turned into present perfect form to complete the interview. Now, let's listen to the interview in audio format and check our answers together. Here we go.
Where have you travelled with your son and what have you done?
Where do I start? We've done so many amazing things together. So far, we've been to the Sahara and we've slept in the Amazon rainforest. We've climbed mountains and we've swum with dolphins. And of course, we've met some amazing men and women from many different countries.
Have there been any problems?
Well, he hasn't enjoyed everything. We've stayed in some very basic accommodation, and he's been sick a few times.
And what about his education? Has he missed a lot of school?
Honestly, yes, he's missed quite a lot of school. But I think school is less important than travelling and seeing the world. He's learned more about the world from our travels than at school. I plan to take him on another trip soon.
Okay, so we got everything correct. I hope you did too. This was the present perfect form. I know I kind of got a little bit detailed, but I wanted to make sure that you guys get a good idea of what the present perfect looks like in both exercises and through different examples. I've mentioned some key points to help you differentiate between the present perfect form and when it is used and what to keep in mind when using it. On that note, this concludes this concludes part 2 of Unit 3. I will see you guys in the next unit. Bye bye.